The Ministry of Health has warned Kenyans with multiple romantic partners that they risk catching mpox, hiyo ni monkeypox. Watu wanaona kama ni uongo, but it's true. If you are in a relationship, try introducing other parties, uone kama mtu wako ataanza kufura-fura. Asante sana for joining us for the weekend edition highlights. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. Happy new month. Manze, so much to talk about, so much topics to touch on. Yani mambo ni mingi, mpaka watu hawakushindania na ile video ya Karinyamo akiingia kwa launch ya Baba's bid for the AU Commission chairmanship seat. Vile aliingia akinyonya ile nini ya mti. Yani sweet ya mti. Na watu yani you've got to admire Karinyamo's confidence na self-esteem. Yeye nyi muongee vile mnataka, yeye bora anasikia utamu. Anyway, we'd like to take a dive kwa hiyo story ya the matter of whether the president called Morara Kebaso on his phone or not.
He is the number of the president.
I'm telling you, the president did not call him. I worked for the president.
I did not say I spoke with Hussein Mohamed. I said I spoke with the president.
But first, former Samburu Governor Moses Lenol Kulal was this past week sentenced to 8 years in prison. 8 years for engaging, after he was found guilty of engaging in corruption. Now, that sentence has caused mixed reactions, with many Kenyans feeling that the sentence is short, like 8 years for Ngoria nini over 80 million. That is like too short, as much as inakuja. Alafu inakuja na option ya fine. What wanna feel ni short. But I think this is just a matter of interpretation. According to the law, a governor should not go for more than 10 years.
The former county chief sentenced to 8 years. 4 years in jail for conflict of interest, and 4 years for unlawful acquisition of public property.
Now, Historia Lenol Kulal has had some developments since the sentencing last week. He has appealed the sentence, and in his defense, he has told the court, Moses Lenol Kulal himself, through his lawyers, ameambia court that he cannot stay in prison because he is pregnant. Not like pregnant. Amesema the condition he's suffering from, inaitwa preeclampsia, cannot allow him to stay in prison. Na medical professionals wanasema that condition only occurs in some pregnant women. So it cannot occur in men. But still, I think this is a matter of interpretation. Kama ako kwa nguri ya over 80 million, see what we can agree that governor ana ball.
A diagnosis of preeclampsia can be made when it arises after 20 weeks of gestation in pregnancy, except if due to hydatiform mole, which is also a pregnancy-related condition.
Speaking of sentences, according to a proposal in the Railways Bill 2024, it's an amendment, I believe, anyone caught vandalizing railway infrastructure is liable to a sentence of life imprisonment. As in, ukishikwa unaiba hizo machuma za nini za railway, kitu yote utashikwa nayo. If you're taken through the judicial system, you unaenda ndani for life. So ukiniuliza, this looks like the safest way you can steal from railway infrastructure na usipelekwe mahali is before the railway is built. Listen, for example, listen to Jimmy Wanjigi explain how much was stolen before the standard gauge railway was built.
I'm the one who came up with the idea for SGR. And my big issue was my model is private. I have a simple private model. We started in 2008 with the same company, Chinese company called China Road and Bridge. We want to build this road with this railway from Mombasa to Nairobi and to Malaba, all the way to the border of Uganda for 55 billion shillings. We did a whole study, private. It did not want any revenue, tax revenue. Mwananchi should not be taxed for this project. All I wanted was an agreement with Kenya Railways for the Whaley, for the land. Then it was being run by a company called RVR, and it was a failure. Then they decided to make a government project. When they made it a government project, it shot up from 55 to 400 billion.
Now, this is why civic education is important. Unaenda kuiba scrap metals, unafungwa for life. Yet the window for stealing is in the planning stage. The message is simple. Still with a plan. I'm still during the planning. Now, maybe I'm overthinking, but the proposal for life imprisonment kwa watu wanashikwa wakiba railway infrastructure seems like it was inspired by the concept of marriage. Kufungwa for life juu ya chuma.
Hiyo inaitwa economic sabotage. Economic sabotage ni ile inaitwa capital offense.
Moving on. The Ministry of Health has warned Kenyans with multiple romantic partners that they risk catching mpox. Hiyo ni monkeypox. Watu wanaona kama ni uongo, but it's true. If you are in a relationship, try introducing other parties uone kama mtu wako ataanza kufura. Alafu, in other news, there are reports of plans to release genetically modified mosquitoes to the public in a bid to stop the spread of malaria. Na hiyo si joke, it's a fact actually. Kuna madesigner wa mbu. Now imagine unatembelea msee, kwake kuna mbu, na hata uwezi uwa hata moja. Buda, relax. Hizo ni mbu za research. Kuna mtu amemake investment kama hiyo. And hizi si jokes by the way. Hizo ni kama madogi za malaria. Now, apparently, scientists wamedesign mosquito ndume. Alafu, wanaziingiza kwa soko, zinakuja zinakatia zile mosquitoes zenye ziko. Sinajua malaria is spread by a female mosquito. So, wamedesign mosquito yenye inakuja, inarushwa soko, inakuja, inavibe hizo mosquitoes female. Alafu, the offspring they get. Wakiget male offsprings, hayumi watu zinakulana zenyewe, but then the female mosquitoes ndio zenye zi spread malaria. Offspring ya hizo mosquitoes female za kawaida zenye ziko natural na hizi zenye zimetengenezwa zikipata watoto madem is mtoto wa mosquito anaitwaje professionally they die. So eventually they kill the population of dangerous mosquitoes. Like that's basically the formula. Sounds like a brilliant concept until I stumbled upon a video of Steve Bogo explaining that there is a hidden agenda behind the GMO mosquitoes.
Kenyans need to understand that the agenda to release mosquitoes all over the world is an agenda that is spearheaded by the World Health Organization and private entities such as the Mosquito Organization, owned and run by Bill Gates. Now, the government in itself is saying that it's going to release these mosquitoes to help combat infections such as malaria. But on looking and doing research further on matters to do with these GMO mosquitoes have been released in several countries some years back. These are programs that started in Mexico, Peru, Fiji, Colombia, Brazil, and Indonesia. Specifically in Brazil, GMO mosquitoes were released to combat what we call dengue fever. But apparently, after the release of the mosquitoes, dengue fever went up to about 400% more infections rather than curing the disease.
Who do you think is telling the truth? Do you think there's a hidden agenda na hiyo story ya kurelease GMO mosquitoes? Do you think like what's the thing behind such interest ya Africa na hizo health strategies mpya unique? Of course, your mosquitoes imeenda majuu, but people are having a conversation ati mpox vaccine inarushwa Africa kwanza. Could there be a hidden agenda? What do you think? Which side are you on? Kwanza unatekio vaccine ya mpox. Let's discuss up and down kwa comment section. Now moving on, during his tour of the Nyanza region, one of the biggest highlights of the week, President Ruto promised to confer city status to Homa Bay town. Sasa iko inaitwa Homa Bay City.
Tunataka hii Homa Bay iwache kuwa town. Hii Homa Bay tunataka tuipangie ikuwe city.
Now, one of the requirements for an urban center to be conferred city status is that it must have a population of over 250,000 people. And that wale watu wanashuku, that gives the president the power to confer any urban center a city status. Sininyi mnasemanga he can rent a crowd. What is 250,000 people for the president? But then again, hiyo ni jokes too. A lot more goes into conferring an urban center a city status other than just population. Ingekuwa tu ni population peke yake 250,000. Sio hata kila ploti pipeline sasa ingekuwa city on its own. While in the Nyanza region tour, the biggest which is ukiniuliza, it's one of the biggest highlights of this past week. Iko na nyama mob sana. The president promised fishermen in the lake region a chopper. When you just stop at the headline, unajiuliza, manze, ndege na samaki zinatoa na wapi? But then again, the idea ni the chopper is, to be fair, the chopper ni emergency services. In fact, kuna statistics zilitolewa za kusema about 5,000 or at least 5,000 fishermen die every year from fishing activities. So your chopper can come through majorly in changing those statistics. So the question is, your chopper itakam. We wait and see. Now your trip ya Kisumu, ama the tour of the Nyanza region needs special attention. Na unatupatia kipaumbele in our next episode, which is coming this Wednesday. Tushikanishe na our take on the striking teachers.
Mwalimu yoyote ambaye anaonyesha tu dalili kuenda shule analaniwa kabisa. Watoto waende nyumbani wafundishwe na ulimwengu.
Na pia hii picha ya president akitenga slice moja ya mkate. Unajua it's funny, hapa ndio ni kama mlitoa ile bread based government. Ukiangalia by the vizuri sana unapata yenye iko kwa meza ni nusu mkate na bado wana deny handshake. Hiyo ingine mnajua ilienda wapi? Anyway, catch our take on this and more or in our episode coming Wednesday. Did you ever imagine that kuna siku moja mtaona Rigiji akiongea Kijaka?
Kisumu hoye! Kisumu jodhurwa ote! Jodhurwa umo!
Aya, moving on, one of the most controversial stories tena za hii kimepita ni whether the president called Morara Kebaso on his phone or not.
I've told you, he is the number of the president.
It's a citizen claiming to have been called by the president. Let him substantiate it.
Mimi nakwamia hapo kwa Hussein akiuliza, a citizen purporting to have been called by the president says the State House spokesperson while on call with citizen. But his story is controversial because ni funny pia. The president must be wondering how Kenyans are bashing him, and yet Morara anafanya the same thing na watu wanamcelebrate.
Hiyo barabara vile vile tumerudisha contractor. Barabara ya Kadel kwenda mpaka Karabur.
Mimi naona watu wanafanya the same thing.
Huyu mashiri huyu tushamlipa 767 million.
If I am to exercise my freedom of speech on this one, I don't know who to believe on this one, because Morara would have ended that debate by showing Jeff his call log, na confirm number, verify, tumalizie hiyo story hapo. But maybe he had his reasons, but not, first of all, I don't think he was afraid of embarrassing the president, because partly that has been the mission of embarrassing the falsehoods zenye the projects, which project imesemekana. That must be embarrassing. So kuoneshana call log that rais anasema hivi na mimi nasema hivi, that would be a great opportunity to prove that the president is lying, in fact na set us by calling, my opinion. Or Morara is onto something hapa. Labda he wanted to launch a fake project of his own, ndio serikali isikie vile Wakenya wausikia wakinini. If that's true, that would be a master chess move. Na tukiweka emotions kando, as in, what is your objective analysis of this situation? Did the president call Morara or not? And if not, why do you think he wouldn't just show the call log? As in all fairness to the open-minded individuals hapo nje. Let's discuss this hapa kwa comment section, because we all have to agree Morara anafanya kazi poa sana, and it's also very brave. And it's so brave that it brought out the coward in Jeff.
That's what worries me and worries a lot of people, is that lineage of yours of people who were killed by, in mysterious circumstances. Are you not worried for yourself?
Well, if I worry too much, I'll not do what I'm doing.
Only Jeff anauliza, aren't you scared? Jeff mwenye alikuwa anafanya ma-interview na Boko Haram na terrorist groups wakati akiwa CNN. Anaogopea Morara juu ya mimi. By the way, what is your honest opinion? Like, what do you think of the situation? Do you think Morara amecheza chess move to give the government a taste of their own medicine? Am there something he's afraid of in terms of actually proving that the president did call him? What do you think? Let's engage up kwa comment section. Our next update, our next update inakuja Wednesday. Remember, tuko na hiyo story ya teacher strike. Tuko na an in-depth look at the president Nyanza tour region. Tuko na the change of tune. Hiyo iko na nyama pia sana, so stay tuned. Wednesday, same time, same place. I've been your host, Dr. Kingori. See you on the next one.